Riley and Marissa here. What's up? We're so excited to talk about money mindset mastery. I put a question out there yesterday and said, who wants to learn about this? And oh my gosh, Marissa, the amount of people who said me was overwhelming. So I'm so honored and grateful to have this time with you. Welcome on.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah, for sure. So I would love to introduce you to my audience because you may be new to some of them. These are my very loyal goal diggers. They are all about crushing online sales and being able to build a business that's genuine and authentic, but they obviously, want to learn more about making more money and managing their finances properly. And I was able to connect with you on social media, which goes to show the powers of connections and building relationships. Yeah. And I just loved everything about you. I feel like you're so personable, but you're also very knowledgeable. Yeah. And I think that this is going to be really helpful. So girls, in the comments, so she can get to know you and follow up later, I want you guys to put new in the comments if you've never seen Marissa. Hi. You're new to Marissa. And then also, how do you say your last name? Is it Greco-Reale? Greco. Okay. Marissa Greco. And then also, if you want to make more money or learn how to be more financially sound, wealthy, abundant, rock that money mindset, I want you to drop a fire emoji, a dollar sign, put show me the money, put something below, because we have to be okay talking about this stuff, right?
I know, right?
It's like a thing. And I love talking about money now. I used to be so embarrassed. And now I'm like, no, I want more money because then I can help more people and make a bigger difference, right? Exactly. So Marissa, let's start with introducing you to my people. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got into the financial space?
Sure. So hi, everyone. I'm Marissa Greco. I'm so happy to be here and meet all of you. So I actually worked in the corporate world originally. So I was corporately working about 5 years. And about 5 years in, actually, I started to just feel different symptoms of like corporate burnout, like just working constant hours, the stress levels of getting everything done. And I was like, this is just not my life. This is not for me. This is what I'm not going to do the rest of my life. So I actually quit that day. I started getting my licensing to teach people about money. So I got all my licensing to be able to manage money, teach about money and insurance and taxes and legal planning. And that took about a year or two. And now I've been in this business for 5 years. I work along the side of with my father and my brother. So it's a family-owned business, which is awesome and definitely has its unique challenges at the end of the day.
No kidding.
Yeah. But so far, I love working with people one-on-one. I love empowering, especially women entrepreneurs, to be able to go after their dreams, realize all the things they want in life. And money is just a way to get you there and help you along the course and do all the things that you want to do in your life. Without money, unfortunately, it is harder to pursue our passions, to reach our dreams, to provide for our children and our families. So I just give them the financial roadmap to reach all those dreams.
That's awesome. So it's not, necessarily, tax planning or something, but you're really going to work with people to get like a holistic approach to their finances.
Exactly. So it really is a holistic approach. Like you can't look at finance in just the view of insurance or taxes or legal planning. It has to be combined and it has to be looked at as a total, complete financial plan because all the things work together. They really do. Mm-hmm. An example of that is like a lot of people think whoever you name in your will is going to get your assets, right? But it's actually whatever you list on your investment accounts as the beneficiary is who's going to inherit your assets at the end of the day.
Good to know. So, you might have to fix that.
So make sure you're looking at your beneficiary designations. But at the end of the day, it's that coordination that I can provide at looking at your tax return, at your legal plan, and making sure it works cohesively with your finances.
That's awesome. And so many people are looking at, most of the ladies on here are moms. So they're looking at, cash flowing or preparing for college, right? Or, okay, we're starting to look at that retirement coming up in the next 10 years, 15 years. Okay, what does that look like? So there's all of these pieces to finances. And you know what, honestly, most of us do, we put our head in the sand because it gives us anxiety. Put guilty below, you guys, when the thought of looking at your income and expenses every month, budgeting, looking at your checkbook, what's on your credit card balances, like the thought of that is giving you hives right now and anxiety. I was totally you. But and I still struggle with it. You can ask Anna. I was just talking to her about something today because a whole lot of money just went out the last couple days. And I was like, okay, I can feel it. I'm hitting a mindset block. Like I have the money, we're fine.
Totally.
But it's like this constant battle. Yeah, the girls are saying guilty. Can you see the comments, Marissa?
No, I can't.
Okay, I'll tell you if they say something
Oh,
specific.
actually, I see it now. I see it now.
Oh, cool. Okay. So what happened for me is I got audited for taxes. I defended myself and fought it and won, but it was for a year of me panicking, thinking, oh my gosh, like all my savings is going to have to be paid for this tax fine.
Yeah.
I had so much anxiety around money. I was always worried about getting audited. What did I attract into my life? An audit, right? But but now I look at money and I'm like, okay, I'm in control. I'm in the driver's seat. It's abundant. Like all I have to do is get aligned energetically. And when I do that, I'm able to attract more, as you guys have witnessed. So I think this conversation is going to be so helpful because we don't want you guys to just tune out and be like, oh, money. Like this is one of the most important things aside from our health that we have to take care of, you know? And I love that you have your family and you have is this a business that your dad and your brother have had for a while, or did you guys?
So my dad has been in the business 30 years and then my brother and I joined. So yeah, it is awesome to work with your family, but I think you make such a good point that, and I really find this with women, right? So sometimes we take the back seat and we let our husbands get involved or family members get involved or listening to friends for certain advice. And at the end of the day, you know what's right. You know what you need to do with, for your family. And you shouldn't take a backseat because it's your life at the end of the day. Right. And your values and your money mindset and your money risk tolerance might be different than your husband. So why shouldn't you have a say in what's going on?
Yeah, and I'll also have some of my students or people looking at investing in one of my programs. They're like, well, I need to ask my husband for the money, and I get it. Or they'll say, oh, he said no more money. But I think that even though your husband per se might be the one at a traditional job and you're doing your online marketing and getting that going, you are still like together in this household or this life or this marriage or partnership if you're not married and you're living together. And Get Rich Lucky B, you know what I'm saying? By Denise CT. She was interviewing talked about celebrities being interviewed and they had no idea where their money was going. They had no clue. And we have to say, no, I want to be involved in that. I want to co-plan with you. I want to be a part of it. So I think that's huge that you just said that. So
yeah, Kimberly, when I talk to you, so actually I'm writing a book right now called Bottom Up Wealth, which Kimberly is going to be in. And so I got to learn more about her story. And what inspired me so much about your story is you're like, you know what? The first thing I did to change my financial life was get my husband on board so that we could step forward in the right direction. Because if one of you is stepping forward in the right direction, but the other isn't, you're still not going to get there. You need to be on the same page. And Kimberly, I think your story was so inspiring because of that.
It was difficult because we had tried multiple times to get on a budget, and then one of us would go rogue, like spend $1,000 on Amazon, right? Or, put a trip on a credit card, and then we're like, oh, right. But when I was like, hey, and this is key too, is you have to cast the vision of where we're going together, right? So I was like, look, this is our debts, because I was managing the finances, and he really was like, could we buy that? Like it was always like, can we spend this money? And I would say yes or no, and it was always emotional. I'm like, sure. And then the next time he'd ask it, I would be like, I don't know. Like there was no real thing. So when I looked down and looked at the real numbers, I was like, oh my gosh, we aren't bringing in enough money to pay our expenses. We both had real salary jobs, corporate jobs, and there wasn't enough. So to get it all down and sit down and say, here's the vision. If we do this right now for the next 18 months, we'll be debt free outside of our home. We will have so much money coming in and such low expenses after that. We can do whatever we want, right? And that's when it clicked. He was like, okay, I'm in.
Well, I think you brought up two important points. And one of them is half of the people I find don't know where they currently are financially. It's like you're going to book a trip, right? You want to go on vacation. For me, that's the Bahamas.
Oh, anywhere warm. Yeah.
So it's like going into TripAdvisor, putting Bahamas, putting the date you want to go, but you don't put where you're leaving from. And that sounds like a silly mistake, but I swear to you, with so many people I talk to, 50% of the people have no idea where they're leaving from. They have no idea where they are right now. And that is the first crucial step into increasing your cash flow, getting clear about where you are, reaching your dreams. You need to know where you are now so you can get where you want to go.
Yeah. And if it's not, because there's anxiety around it because it's the unknown. And most, probably honestly, I think from the numbers I've heard, at least in the US, and I know there's a global audience we have here, but most people, the average family is very close to a financial disaster. Like if their car broke down and they had to get a new car, they'd have to finance it, right? Like they couldn't pay
the
cash.
emergency fund to pay for the emergency that comes up.
No, we just don't. And that was the first thing we did, was like put a little stash away and started chipping away at our debt. But that's the state of the matter, right? So the idea of this, like addressing that, is going to make you go, oh my gosh, like this is a mess. No one wants to do that. But the only way you're going to get past that and get to the Bahamas is to say, okay, what's the mess? What is that? And honestly, you guys, once you do it and you realize like there's a plan to get out of it, honestly, it changes everything. Don't you? Have you seen that with your clients, Marissa?
Oh yeah. Once they know where they are, they're almost relieved, because I feel like people also put in their mindset that they might be worse off than they actually are.
It's true.
Yeah. So once they actually get the picture on paper, we put a plan together. It just brings so much peace of mind at the end of the day, knowing where you are and then how to get where you want to go.
Yeah. And, if it's like, oh my gosh, we're maxed out on credit cards, or, the mortgage, there's things that you can do. Like you can literally like talk to I'm not with Scott, but at a home I owned before, it was not going so well. I called them and I worked something out with them. They reduced my monthly amount. I was able to like skip it. They had like a grace period and I was able to get back on track. I worked something out with them and then I got through it. Right. But if I would have just like waited for the calls to start coming, or just got anxiety around that letter, the letter in the mail or something like that, that's not going to be living your life like a boss, you guys. And it's all fronts. It's not how you're showing up on social media or talking to people in Messenger. If you guys are having a struggle growing your online sales or attracting business builders or getting clients if you're in coaching, it's often a reflection of your own financial mess. So if you're not having the success you want financially in your business, you're not generating those sales and that revenue or that income, or the whole thing just like throws you in a tizzy, you are probably, it's possible, energetically pushing away the exact people you want to work with. So getting this in order can change everything. It can change how you're showing up, the people you're attracting, and really getting everything in order so you can grow the way that you want to.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it comes down to action, right? I feel like a lot of us get in our head about a lot of things, like even when it comes to social media. Like, to be honest, Kimberly, I didn't have a Facebook group until I met you 1 month ago. And I was like, you know what? I need to get a Facebook group. So I started my Facebook group a month ago called Bottom Up Wealth. But you inspired me to do that. And I realized, like, you don't need to have like the perfect strategy, the perfect branding, the perfect financial situation right now to get going. You just need to get going, and you need to start taking consistent, disciplined actions every day. Like, write them down. For me, when it comes to money, that's like making sure I keep my emergency fund, right? Making sure I have 3 to 6 months of cash in a liquid bank so that if an emergency comes up, I can easily pay for it, right? So that's one step. Then my second step is, okay, what about now retirement? How am I putting away for retirement? Well, for me, because I'm self-employed, and probably a lot of people on this call are self-employed, I put away monthly into something called a SEP IRA, which is a retirement account specifically for business owners. And it helps us from a tax perspective, and also the investments grow in the account tax deferred. So a SEP IRA is a great way to put away for retirement, but I suggest doing it monthly and doing it automatically, because again, if you don't take those small actions, you're not going to get to the place you want to go. So every day, consistent actions over the long term will lead you to financial success.
Oh, I love it. So much fire. In the comments, you guys drop what's like your thing that you're confused on when it comes to money, or something that you need to get clear on or get a plan in place. So it could be, in a budget, don't think of budget as a bad word, but is it a budget meaning you get a real good, clear concept of what's coming and what's going out, right? Or is it, oh my gosh, like we don't have a retirement plan, or we don't have an emergency fund saved up? I'd love to know in the
yeah. And Kimberly, so you brought up with the budget. One thing I'd like to talk about there. So I see a lot of people making budgets, which is not a bad thing. I'm really happy you're sitting down and working that out. But the way I work a budget is completely different than other people. What I figure out first.
I like this.
What I figure out first is what needs to go away into savings for me to hit my goals. So if that's okay, say you want 6 months of your expenses in an emergency fund, right? So say your expenses are $5,000 a month. You multiply that by 6. We need $30,000 in some kind of bank account for emergencies.
Okay.
So then I figure out monthly what I need to add to that bank account to hit the $30,000. Okay. So when I figure that out monthly, I automatically set up before I pay anything else in the month, before I pay my utilities, before I pay my mortgage, before I pay my taxes. The first thing that happens is the amount I need to go into my savings account goes straight from my paycheck. That is absolutely the first thing. Then I take the money that's left over and then I work my budget. So I already hit my savings goal for the month.
That's
that's
awesome.
the first thing I did. And then whatever money is left over, that's now what I'm allowed to spend. So that goes towards kids' activities, the dogs, utilities, taxes, all of that. But if you don't do it in this fashion and you spend everything first, you'll get to the end of the month and be like, what do I have left to put away? And I can tell you it will be nothing.
It'll be nothing every time. Everyone on here has probably tried like, oh, I know I need to build up a savings. And you know, what's interesting too, like, because I did that for the longest time where I didn't pay myself first. You know, I didn't put money aside. I was like, okay, when there's some extra, we'll stash it away. And of course it kept being nothing. And then I learned about what you just said. So we put money aside for, you know, rainy day. And I have some for my business too. And what happens is like, there's this peace of mind. Like if something ever happened, like with my husband's job, or even like something happened online and I had to pivot with my business, it would give me the breathing room to be able to be okay financially. So that way we could, you know, move forward. But also I've noticed then that doesn't even happen. It's like when you prepare for it, because you're prepared for it, like it doesn't happen. But when you're not prepared for it and you keep thinking, oh my gosh, what if we lose our job? What if the income, you know, the bottom falls out? There's no plan. And then it's like you're thinking about it, but you also are attracting it. It's the weirdest thing.
So that is the weirdest thing, but that is exactly right. So my tip would be for everyone, first figure out what money you want to go in savings and execute that first, and then come up with what your budget should be for the rest of your expenses so that you make sure you're hitting your savings goal, right?
Okay. And if you guys are on here, you're going, okay, numbers, money, like it's not my strength. Just what can they comment to be able to connect with you? What we
so comment? If you comment freebie, I actually put together a money making checklist, which goes through actually all the disciplines that I usually look at: cash flow, taxes, investments, retirement. And it's going to give you a checklist, literally one by one. What are steps I can take right now to start making more money, start getting my financial life together and in control of everything that's going on. So if you want this money making financial checklist, I am happy to send it to you guys.
Oh, awesome.
So just put freebie in the comments. And if you have a freebie in the comments, then I will send it to you personally.
Okay. So when she sends it to you, if you guys want to connect with her more on what she does, I'm sure you do like consults and stuff.
Exactly.
You guys can set that up. And in your group too, do you do anything in your group? Like, do you do like education in there, challenges?
I go live once a week.
Cool.
I also spotlight a lot of business owners. So, you know, I'm always happy to chat with any of you about that and connect just the way me and Kimberly did. And I also work one-on-one. I call it a money alignment call. But basically, we figure out where you are right now and get clear where you are right now so that you can start moving in the right direction towards your goals and your dreams. And obviously, that works really well with Kimberly's strategies. I mean, she's amazing at the social media thing. No, seriously, like everything I know about social media, I feel like is through you at this point.
Thank you. That's so sweet.
But yeah, so if you combine your social media strategy and you are bringing in good income, but then you add strategies to not only make money, but keep it and keep that wealth over your lifetime, that is what true financial freedom is to me. I mean, wealth to me is not having to physically work, but being able to live off what you have. And so at the end of the day, you need to make a good income, which I think Kimberly can help you get there. But at the same time, you need to save, right? And we need to put away for all your other long-term goals.
Yeah. And they say now, you know, when people retire, they don't have the funds, guys, to be able to live. A lot of them have to go back to work. And so when I of course, I'll probably be like 105 still working because I want to.
I feel like that's me too.
Yeah. Like my husband would be like, okay, who can you go coach? But I want to be in a position where it's coming in automatically. So I've already built out like long-term like goals and some stuff I'm going to do where I can have like things that are being, sold and whatever, where I don't actively have to be generating the income. But you can do that with your wealth creation. You can do that with your investments, and it's not one of those things where, I think that we get this like it's like an afterthought of thinking about retirement long term, but a lot of you have college to pay for now too. And it's just different than when our parents went through. You couldn't just get a job and retire and you're good. Like that's gone. Like it's not like that anymore. So I think having someone in your corner like Marissa is going to allow you to get the guidance. And if you're with her checklist, that's a good starting point. But having someone like her to say, okay, this is what this equates to for you. I want you to put $1,000 a month away. Because if you're just like, oh my gosh, we can't even pay our bills, like she can work with you on that. Go ahead. I do want to ask how to increase your cash flow and mindset. I want to touch on this before we wrap up. Okay. So what would you say for those that are wanting to build a business? A lot of the girls in here are have tried different things, whether it's network marketing, direct sales, kind of finding their home, finding out their space. Like you said about social media, a lot of them are still working on who am I, how am I showing up, and all of that. So they're kind of at that beginner stage. Some of them have gotten there, but they don't have good systems in place, whether it's for their team or even personally for their finances. But as far as increasing cash flow, and you said it's not what you think, what would you say that thing is that they need to realize or focus on?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, especially when you're starting out, is to pay yourself first. A lot of us have a tendency to, because we love our businesses and we're so pumped about them, we put more money back into the business, but at the same time, we never take anything for ourselves. So pay yourself first at the end of the day and put money away. You don't know how long your business is going to be successful. Especially with this whole COVID thing, that has showed me literally anything can happen that you're not predicting, and you need to be ready for it and adapt. So the thing to be ready for is to have some money set aside so that you have that time to adapt and can figure out how to rearrange your business as things change over time.
Okay, cool. And when I know before I got into all of this, I would feel fear when that conversation would come up of you need to be ready, you need to adapt, you need to be able to pivot. Like it would make me feel scared. So if you're feeling that way, the other emotion, because anxiety and excitement or fear and excitement are the same physically in the body. So I want you to shift your mindset. And I want you to get into that like attack mode of like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited and I'm learning this. And I'm so excited that I'm going to do this for myself and my family. Wow. 6 months from now, a year from now, like get through 2021. Like obviously we've got the end of the year still, but get through it. And with where you've transformed everything a year from now, like imagine you take just 6 months to a year to really buckle down, really get a handle on this, work with someone like Marissa, but you will feel so much different about money. It will no longer give you anxiety and fear. I mean, there's some upper limits that will come up, but you'll be excited about it. You're like, oh my gosh, I can bring on a VA, right? Or, oh my gosh, I can cash flow that trip to Disney with my family. Like I can tell my husband we're paying cash for that. Like there's also all this awesome, exciting things that we can do for ourselves and others, but you have to identify that fear. And you have to flip it to excitement, and I get to do this.
No, that's totally correct. And another thing that I personally really do too is, and I think Kimberly, you do this as well, like you write out your top 5 goals. Like this is what I want to accomplish. And not only do I write them out, but then I visualize them 20 minutes a day. And I don't just look at one of them. I visualize all the situations that can happen. So if I'm like, I want to make $1 million this year, right? First of all, you have to believe it's attainable, but second of all, if you can visualize it, but not only just see it, if you can hear what would be happening when you reach $1 million, if you can taste something you might be eating or drinking like champagne when you get that $1 million, and use all your senses, that really is going to help drive into your mindset those goals and those dreams you want. But it is true, without having the right mindset at the end of the day, you can have all the strategy in place, but you could be making $600,000 a year, but you just blow the $600,000 on buying this house, buying this car. And at the end of the day, you're not hitting any of your goals. So you need to have the mindset and the strategy combined to reach your dreams and move to the next step.
Oh, so much fire. That's amazing. That is huge. It's huge. And I know I mentioned it before that book I was reading, but she was like, if you want a first class life, like you need to class it up. Like you need to go, stay in a really nice hotel one weekend so you can feel what that feels like, right? And of course, planning ahead and budgeting, but like be around people who are successful, be around people who are financially wealthy, who understand money, who are spending it the right way, who are giving back, who have success in their business. If you're looking around at your average friends that you and your spouse are hanging out with, and they're just like, oh, guess it's just paycheck to paycheck. Oh, and it's just like not uplifting. You can still have those relationships in your life, but where are you spending most of your time? You need to surround yourself with abundance and success, because literally your subconscious mind will just start thinking it's normal. And then you just start making more money. I'm not even kidding. Like it totally happens to me.
Yeah, exactly. It's an amazing thing.
It is. Okay. So how can people connect with you? A lot of them put freebie in the comments. Is that the best way? Or get your
I have a Calendly link. So if you do want to book a one-on-one immediately with me, we can set some time up. You can literally just book an appointment through my Calendly link. I'll post it right after this. Also in my money-making checklist is my phone number, my email, and also my Calendly link, so you can get me in touch with me there. And Kimberly, I really just want to thank you. Like, you've been such an inspiration to me, which is, of course, why I'm writing about you also in my book. I think we can all learn so much just from like your mindset, your attitude, where you come from, and now where you are, and how much you've learned. And really, at the end of the day, it's just inspiring to see you pick other women up and inspire them at the same time. So thank you so much for having me. And I'm really looking forward to meeting some of you.
You are so sweet. This is one of my favorite interviews I've ever done. So I think what we'll do is we'll create we'll download it somehow, and I'll probably put it on YouTube as well. So if any of you want to share this interview, because they're not in Gold Digging Boss Babes, we'll get this on YouTube for you guys, and you can share it out. And what, if your spouse is willing to watch it, it's a short, condensed amount of time. We talked about a lot. See if you can get them to watch it, just to start opening up that conversation of hearing it from someone else. It can be that social proof that they need. And then y'all connect with her, go follow her, get in her group. What is your Facebook group called?
It's called Bottom Up Wealth. So I'll post that as well, so you can join if you'd like.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you so much, Marissa. I appreciate
you. Thank you for having me.
Yay. Have a good day, guys. Okay.